Hey y'all, my name is Jenna Fail.
And I'm Chef Robbie Jester, winner of Guys Grocery Games, Beat Bobby Flay, and most recently Netflix Pressure Cook.
Today we're going to be in the fail-proof kitchen learning different tips and tricks of how to maximize your cooking experience.
So we're going to do lots of these. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to follow.
Okay, so Robbie, I don't have a whole lot. I'm a pretty minimalist cook, but I've been able to pull it off for about 7 years here.
Okay, so let's start with, let's see where we're at.
Okay.
Let's start with the knives first.
Well, you're putting an S on there. That's pretty bold of you. I've got this
I just assumed we'd...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the universal knife. It's a community knife. I use it for everything.
So you use it for...
Opening packages, cutting lettuce.
Taking paint off the walls.
I've scraped a few walls with that knife.
Screwdriver as well.
Don't put it past me. I've got a couple steak knives that we just recently got.
Sweet.
They sound hollow.
So before the one, what did you use?
I think I used scissors. And then like the word got out on Instagram and somebody mailed me that and I've used it ever since.
Awesome.
They're like, girl, we heard you were struggling. I'm like, this is embarrassing. But you know what it is there's so many options and I don't know what to get. So I'm hoping you can help me.
Yeah,
Because it's been 7 years of struggling here.
We're definitely gonna help you on the knives. I would consider this to be unsharp. So
okay, maybe I'll retire it to UPS packages only.
So next, let's look for like sauce pot, 2-quart sauce pot, pots and pans, saute pan. Like what we got going on here?
2 quart sounds like it would look like this, maybe.
Yep, that's. I'm looking for something maybe a little taller than it is wide that we could like. Yes, a pot.
I've got some pots. I've got
oh my.
the variety. I've got the circus of pots.
We've got the not quite pastel, but we have the rainbow.
We have the rainbow.
That's no orange. No, I do see a purple. Oh, that's a bowl.
I don't know what's happening with the colors here.
So
beautiful.
I mean, they'll certainly cook things. Things will cook in these.
I have cooked in all of these. And then I've got this one that it heard you were coming. It got scared. It started to shrivel up and die.
Started to shrivel up a little bit. Yeah, you know, maybe this is like saute roulette. You don't know whether you got a piece of like nonstick or a pepper flake.
Is that pepper or Teflon? Like we don't know.
It's like, you know, if you have just a little bit of the poison every single day, like then you become immune to it.
That's what I was thinking.
So great.
I do have this. Found it at the flea market.
I like flea markets.
Me too.
Sweet.
Beautiful.
So we've got one knife. We've got a deviled egg plate from the flea market. We've got some questionable pans. And a lot of enthusiasm. So we've got some stuff here to work with, but I think where we need to start is we really need to go gear up your kitchen. So we need to take a little trip and get you some stuff that's gonna work out for you in the long run.
Store trip, let's go.
Yep, let's go.
So how did you get into cooking? Like, did you always like it or did you?
So grew up in a restaurant family. When I was like 12, my parents took over a seafood restaurant in Maryland. And I started like washing dishes and making salads and desserts, and then started working on the line at 14. And running that line at 15. And my dad did not want me to do this. He was a chef, knew that the life is hard. I think that he made it harder than it needed to be. But didn't want me to do this. So I had almost a full ride to Michigan State for medical technology.
Wow.
And about a week before I was supposed to leave, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I took a brief detour. Kept cooking, but I went to massage school because I had enough money saved that I could pay for that program out of pocket, and then applied for culinary school and then went from there. So I've been doing it since 12 years old. And what's your earliest food memory?
Oh, my mom cooked every night. Like, we didn't get to eat fast food. My mom, which being a kid, we're like, Mom, come on, give us a Happy Meal. We're dying for a Happy Meal. But she cooked just all different kinds of stuff. Every single night we had our starch, vegetable, and protein. And loved her cooking. Meatloaf.
Did she have more than one knife?
She did. She was doing a whole lot better than I am right now. But yeah, I mean, I love comfort food like that. It just makes me think of growing up. And it's just, you feel so loved when you eat a good home-cooked meal. So how was my driving, 1 to 10?
Great.
Yeah?
Great, completely comfortable.
I need you to like write that and sign it and so I can give it to my husband. All right, we are back from the store, but I think one thing's missing. I think we need to suit up.
Let's do it. this is what I call a setup. This is a good place to start with. But I do want to talk about like the stuff that we bought and why we bought it. So, you know, we have the one. This will be known as the one for the rest of the series for the callbacks. So we have the one, and this is good for some things. Lettuce being one, because it definitely doesn't have much of an edge on it anymore. But we're gonna work on that.
Okay.
So we wanted to get you some knives. We have you a nice solid chef's knife here. Then we have this knife, which has a little tiny bit of flex to it. It's like a fillet knife or a vegetable knife. And then we have our paring knife. So we have pretty much everything. You already have the brisket / bread knife, so we're good. But I want to talk about the rest of the utensils. Whenever you're buying utensils, you want to have something that is like a solid piece all the way through. So we talked with the knife about making sure it had full tang or had that piece of metal all the way through the knife.
So mine did not have that. So if you want to do a side by side here, we can see.
So you see where you can see that piece of steel going straight through there? That's going to be a sturdier knife. It's going to last longer. This eventually, if you push on it hard enough, it's going to start to separate, which could be a safety issue. Then I love a good old-fashioned
wooden spoon.
I just like the feel of it, the way it feels like my grandmother's stirring the food. I don't know, it just feels like there's a little bit more love in it. We have a metal spatula here, solid all the way through. We have our whisk. We have a pair of tongs, a good solid pair of tongs. I don't like them too short. This is like the good distance, like 10 or 12 inches. I also don't like them too long. If you go like a restaurant store, you can get like super long or like the barbecue ones.
I think we have some of those.
That are meant to, down here in the
trash bag drawer.
In the trash bag
He's
drawer.
picking on my organization, y'all, because it makes no sense, and I agree.
So we do have some longer ones. This is great for grilling and stuff like that, so you're further away from the heat, but this is gonna give you a little bit more control. To help with some of our knife cuts, we have a mandolin here, which is something that scares a lot of people, but no need to be scared if it's sharp and you use it the right way and clean it the right way. So we have our saute pan here, non-stick, solid handle that can go into the oven because it's metal. We have stainless steel mixing bowls. I like these, especially the ones that have a little flat bottom on them.
Okay.
So when you're like making vinaigrettes or you're making like a spice rub or whatever, you're whisking in it, that it's stable, it doesn't move around on you. And you wanna use stainless steel. I think a lot of people have like plastic bowls or like Tupperware style bowls. They just can like absorb bacteria and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like the stainless better for that.
I have porcelain bowls, and they're so heavy.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, it's so impractical.
And then this is like,
okay.
I could throw it over my shoulder. I could juggle with it probably. And then to talk about, so the difference here, so perfect example.
That's
is
what I've been
this,
using.
And you can like, I don't know if you can see it, but like you see the wiggle there?
Yeah.
Like it's getting ready to like come apart.
I thought this was really happening, y'all. It's got some weight to it, and it is jiggly now that you mention it, but I thought that was just...
And a lot of people will ask, okay, so we got all these metal utensils and then we have non-stick. So you can have the non-stick and use metal utensils, just don't use them like an asshole.
Right.
Don't dig in there and scrape out the non-stick. Just gently get in there and lift something up, and the metal utensil on the non-stick is completely fine. Then this is kind of like chef's preference. So we have a half sheet tray and a quarter sheet tray here with the racks. That's both, you're gonna use those to roast with. You can cook bacon on these pans with a liner, but then with the racks, you can use it to rest your meats after you're done grilling so that the juices just fall and it doesn't like steam.
Sog up your food, yep.
So it keeps all of that beautiful color and caramelization that we're gonna get. It keeps it all there. But also this just can be a drying rack for produce after you wash it. It's just multi-purpose.
Okay.
We have our board, nice thick board. It's got little feet on it, so it doesn't move around, which is a safety thing. We have a little bit more space to work with here, so we don't have to worry about overcrowding ourselves and like scrunching up on our food as we're trying to cut it and move it around. But then,
See, I had been using this little guy here.
yep, so we take this little guy and we have one onion, and our one onion, by the time I cut it in half, takes up this whole board.
Yeah.
And you're trying to move around it, and it like, even on here, it like slides around. There is a little hack though, that if you have a board like this and you don't want it to slide around, so if you take some paper towels, wet them,
Yep.
unfold them, place them underneath. This is a lot for this, but that's gonna anchor that, keep it from moving around. So it's a safety thing for your board. If it doesn't have little feet on it like this, or you have a super like slippery counter, you can use this. You can also find these cutting boards that have little plastic sheets that go on top, like a red one, a green one, a yellow one for chicken, poultry, or whatever.
Silicone mats.
Little silicone mats. They're great. I think that they're a little bit unnecessary, but because you're just gonna clean this and keep this well. So another thing we wanna talk about in the kitchen world, a honing steel. So if you use this is not a sharpener.
Okay.
This is a honing steel. So if you use this on your knife, it's like right before you get ready to use it, right after you use it on things, to just keep that edge alive. If the edge is dead, i.e. in the one, we're gonna wanna use a tri-stone, which we're gonna show in another video on how to sharpen that. The other thing too, big difference here, chefs, I can't even fit my damn hand in this, but chefs don't, this is like—
You're gonna do a puppet show?
Yeah, it's like a sock puppet. No, at least it's like the right colors and everything, but no, we don't use this. Chefs use side towels like this. So we use side towels like this to hold saute pans, like this.
Okay.
And the reason being is, you have this on your hand. It's like on your hand, right? Okay, let's say it's a little bit wet. You grab a hot pan. When you grab a hot pan with a wet towel or a wet mitt, it's gonna steam right through and burn you. Now to get that thing off, you've really gotta like—
I'm slinging my food in my pan, huh?
You're slinging it in the pan, or like you just can't get it off, you're burning yourself, it hurts. So with this, like if this is wet and I pick up a hot pan, well, I just put it back down, or I can kind of double it up in my hand real quick. You have a lot of, like here, I've got it really like doubled up, but you could start with it this way.
Okay.
And then if it's really, really hot, you can go this way, but you have a lot of flexibility and you can ditch it really quick if it's burning or it's too hot or—
that makes sense.
Sets on fire. Like let's not bring that into the world right now. But, like, you know, it's just a safety thing. And we use these not to wipe, but just to kind of manipulate the pans and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you could have these and have them in like sanitizer water or wipe or whatever, but for our purposes, we're gonna use these to hold our hot pots and pans.
And that's called a side towel.
Side towel, yes.
So I use shears for everything. I'm talking, I will cut lettuce, I'll cut chicken, I'll cut beef. Like I just stick a fork and chop. What do you think about those?
If it works for you.
Yeah, the last time we had company, we gave them scissors for their steaks.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
We were coming up with a whole thing. We were like, I'm gonna brand these. And
that's why we don't have nice things. This is a fail. This is a fail.
The first fail of the fail-proof kitchen.
If it works for you, cutting stuff up for home, like that's fine and everything like that. It's just not the best thing for like the integrity of the product or the end presentation. I get why you use it. You're probably working 3 times as hard.
No, it's so fast.
You want to race later?
Yes.
I'll take money on
actually,
that.
I revoked my yes. That's a no. I don't want to go up against you.
So as we can see, this looks a lot different than our chipped pan from back in the cupboard, or our little purple guy here.
I use that every morning for coffee.
So we definitely got some differences here. So I think we're ready to start and make some awesome food. We're gonna move on now to knife care.
All right, let's go.